66 with 111 points. He was on all four of our lists. Came in on Andretti's list at 57, came in on Mongoose's list at 52, JC's at 46, and he came in at mine at 38, and that is Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. And
I like when we have people like that. Like, you want to talk about, like, you feel like they're rightly placed.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That is, Henning's a good one. Go ahead, John.
yeah, I really liked Hennig. Obviously the things that stick out for me with Hennig is all of the promos, like him. When you think of Mr. Perfect, for me, it's him doing the vignette with everything that was perfect. He like threw the football and then he ran and caught it. Like that's what I remember of Mr. Perfect. And even though I wasn't even like, that was before my time, or it was like right before I was even watching or any of that stuff, like you'd see that as a fan as you came in. And WWE has done a fantastic job with keeping Mr. Perfect and lore alive with him. He went to WCW, was a part of NWO. He had a really, really good career. And for somebody who, one of those guys that probably should have won the world championship that never did. And a great intercontinental champion, one of probably, if not the best, a top 5 intercontinental champion of all time.
I would say it's one of the biggest mistakes that WCW and WWE ever made is that they didn't put a world title on that guy.
Yeah.
You know what? I would say that not the WWF, because he wasn't a world champion.
It wasn't big enough at the time.
But when Rick Rude and Steamboat and those guys went over there, they should have given the house to Hennig to come there and get a run with their title belt. Sure. That was when that sweet, he should have, when after he cost Luger the match at Mania 10, WCW should have given him all the money to say, come here and be our world champion. And that could have been a really cool feud with him and Hogan, because Hogan was at that time running through Flair and Vader and all that. Like, he would have been a really good feeder person, even maybe to beat Hogan. And
that'd be great.
You know what I mean?
Think about the story to tell there too, is that, you were over there ruining everybody's life in WWF and keeping guys like me back, and now I'm over here and I'm going to beat you for the belt.
Yes. Yeah. But the crazy thing to me with Mr. Perfect is that when I was watching, I didn't know that he was a thing, because I knew him only as a manager and as a commentator on WWF Primetime. Because they used to have like this round table where it'd be like Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, or Vince McMahon and Bobby Heenan, and then Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Hillbilly Jim, and then Mr. Perfect. Okay. So like, it was this literal like table of people that would talk about the matches that they were watching. And I just remember thinking Mr. Perfect was like just so into himself and such a jerk off. Right. And then when the Macho Man and the Ultimate Warrior were supposed to be the Ultimate Maniacs, and they had their split because, didn't know the Warrior was out of the company. But the Macho Man says, I'll find a partner. And Heenan says something to Perfect to the effect of like, oh, you couldn't do it or whatever. And Perfect like turns.
Yeah.
I was so all in on Perfect, on what a babyface turn, man. And so that Perfect babyface run was incredible. And the one thing that I hated about it was that his heel turn was bad. Like, it wasn't a great heel turn. He had such a great face turn, and it didn't end up in him having a monster heel turn. Like, it was just this like subtle kind of thing where he cost Lex Luger the match, and then he's managing Hunter Hearst Helmsley, kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, they definitely were in it, like this weirdo flux position with him. And it didn't serve him any justice. But look, man, this guy the perfect plex is an incredible finisher
Also,
that the second generation Hasbro, when they came out with that in the same group that had the narcissist Lex Luger and a couple other of those, I was so happy to get a Mr. Perfect. And then I brought it to school and I found out that friends of mine had a Mr. Perfect that was in an all yellow singlet. And I was like,
yes.
whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa. Like this guy is that dude. You watch him and Bret Hart, his stuff with the Genius, whenever he's in his run, whatever he's wrestling Hogan in house show matches and stuff, he's excellent. And then we would be remiss if we didn't mention Rap is Crap. Rap is Crap is the reason I have him as high as I do. Because
one of my favorite things in WCW history.
Yep. His WWF run's great. Rap is Crap puts him to where I have him.
People, even when he was a heel, when he was doing the Intercontinental run and whatnot, people still love to watch that guy. And he was a big fan favorite even as a heel. So that's why the face run was so good, later on down the line. But that Intercontinental title at the time was kind of the worker belt, for the most part. And that the group of people that he was with, that he would like in that circle, like how you were talking about Regal with the TV title, that little circle of Intercontinental guys were just phenomenal workers, man. And like, I'm glad you mentioned that about the Hart match, because that was it. That was the King of the Ring 93 was him and Hart. There's a Saturday Night's Main Event match with him and Tito Santana. We've never really given too much love to Santana because his name doesn't pop up that much. But Tito Santana match, Saturday Night's Main Event, July 28th of 1990. I watched that last night. That match was awesome. But I mean, Hennig's one of the top technical wrestlers ever. It's a shame he never got a world title run, man, because that guy is beloved, inspirational. I mean, just a hell of a guy to work with for sure.
Him throwing the towel behind his head and Heenan catching it without looking is a top 5 GIF of all time.
So good. Oh,
that's awesome.
Oh, so good. But yeah, very decorated wrestler. He was most improved in the Wrestling Observer. He won the in WCW. He won the U.S. Heavyweight Championship. He was a tag team champion. In WWF, as we mentioned, he was the Intercontinental Champion 2 times, and he was a Hall of Famer, class of 2007. So, but yeah, that is Curt Hennig at 66.